Hi everyone, good afternoon. This is exactly 12, so I am right on time today. So come online, I'm waiting for today's episode of Let's Talk Business with the Hair Prof. Okay, I can see one person, 6 people, all right. It's me you will see first before I introduce our guest speaker today. So I'm waiting for more people to join so that he can come on board. We are talking about savings and investments. Good morning, Queen. I can see you all. We are talking about savings and investment today, and it's something we all need, including me here, because really there's no way you can be making money. Even if you're not making money, you need to save something because you don't know about tomorrow. So I'll be introducing baby boy or Papi Kechukwu in any moment from now to come and lecture us for today, to come and hold this session on savings and investment. So let's welcome him on board. Please come and join us. I'll be stepping out and let's have him here.
Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for finding time to be part of this section. Like the Hair Prof have said, we'll be talking about savings and investment. She has asked that I come and talk about this. Even me, I also need to learn about savings and investment as well. So we all do. But we need to, from time to time, remind ourselves of things that we have had before, but maybe we have not been putting it into practice, or maybe we have forgotten. And then, and also new opportunities that are out there in the market, because the difference between a poor and a rich man is just, most times it's information. That's what I call it, because the more information you have, the better your chances of becoming rich. So we'll just give you some tips, and then you go and work with it. Once again, my name is Paul Iwea. So I'll use myself as an example in this area. I have realized that the amount of money you earn as salary is not does not determine how much you can save. Savings has to do with it's a thing of the mind. It's an act that you must develop. It's something that you have to practically consciously put yourself in that space. It's not because you're earning 6-digit income in a month that will make you to save more, and not because you are also not earning 6 digits that will make you not to save. When some years back in my career, I realized that the middle managers and the senior managers, a lot of them did not own their own property in terms of home. They didn't have houses. They were all living in rented apartments in the company I was working for then. But the drivers, the factory workers, have their own houses. Though those houses, you could say they are built in Mowe or Fada, far places. It might not be the best of houses, but they are houses. They were living there and they were coming to work from there without paying rent. But the big boys in the office then would rather live in Ikoja GRA, would live in Magodo and pay rent. And so that is just to tell you that the amount you earn is not what makes you save. It's just about you deciding to want to save. You can be earning 50,000 naira today as salary, as your income at the end of the month. And if you're determined that you want to form the habit of saving, even if it is 1,000 naira alone that you save out of that 50,000 every month, by the time you keep that 1,000 aside and you live with your 49,000, at the end of the year, you would have saved 12,000 naira. So for instance, you started it in 2020 and you say you're going to be saving 1,000 naira. By the end of 2020, by December, you would have saved 12,000 naira. To some of us who say, what is 12,000? I mean, why do I want to bother myself? 12,000 is nothing. Yes, it looks like it's nothing, but it's actually not nothing. It's something. It's something because you have formed a habit that is a positive habit. So if there's nothing you gained from consistently putting down that 1,000, is that you have developed a positive habit. And that positive habit is what will take you through in life. It's what will take you to where you need to be in life. So in 2021 January, you are no longer starting from zero. You'll be starting from 12,000 plus another 1,000. That's making it 13,000. So you are no longer from zero. By the time you do it over time, and remember, as you progress in life, your income also increase, and then you keep increasing your savings. I started from 1,000 just to show you that you can actually save 1,000. So you don't need to say it must be when I am able to save 1 million before I start saving. Because if you wait until you're able to save 1 million, you will never save. I will tell you also the virtuous circle that we run as government workers or public servants and things like that. So if you don't start the savings habit early enough in life, or make it a conscious effort to save, even if you're earning 3 million naira every month, you will not be able to save. And people will say it's not possible. When I earn 3 million, I will save. I give you one example. Where I work, I was actually praying for a promotion and things like that, and I was working for it. And then sometime this year, that promotion came. It was supposed to be a good one, and it was a good one anyway. We'd give God the glory. My second son, the first question he asks is that, Daddy, now that the promotion we have been praying for has come, that means our standard of living will improve more. And I smiled. And I said to myself, yes, this is what makes rich people, senior managers and directors and things like that, get poorer, even when they grow in office, even when their salaries increase. So for my son, he's expecting more vacations, so if he has been going on vacation once in 2 years or once in 3 years, he wants to be going on vacation every year now, or maybe 6 months, because I see people in my office who go on vacation every 6 months. So it's a way of life as well. But I consciously told myself from where I was before, because where I was before that promotion, I felt the family was well taken care of. We are good. And I told myself, any kobo that is going to come from this promotion will not be touched. So our standard of living continued the same way. My wife was surprised. The food money did not change. I refused to increase it. I refused to touch anything, to do anything to increase, because my status has changed. I refused to change my status. The children remain in the same school. Vacation remained the same. So if we are doing it once in 2 years or once in 3 years, it remains the same. So if you don't make those conscious efforts, you will realize that your salary will continue to increase. Your expenses will continue to increase. So you can always spend to meet up with your salary. So that's why I said, even if you're earning 3 million naira, you can spend that 3 million naira in a month. You can also decide not to spend it, and you spend less than that, and you put something by the side. So savings is very key. It's very important. You must have to cultivate that habit. It's a conscious habit that you need to cultivate. Secondly, there are several things that we can save. It's not just money alone that we can save. We can also save time. a lot of us waste a lot of our time doing things that does not, bring anything to us. I see some young people today, they are on social media, they are on Instagram, they have data, they launch into, from morning till night, they are watching, looking at people who have made it, without doing anything tangible to help themselves. When you waste your time, remember, this year, if you're maybe 20 years this year, by next year you'll be 21. Time waits for no one. And you can actually continue to look at the social media conversations, join all the gist that happens in Nigeria, be the one to know the breaking news and things like that. And at the end of the day, before you know it and you look back, you have wasted 10 years of your life. So you need to also learn to save time. What I mean by saving time is that instead of using 4 hours, 5 hours, or 6 hours on social media, why don't you reduce it? And maybe use 3 hours. I'm just giving you an example. I don't know the normal hours that you should use, but I'm just saying, maybe you're using 2 hours, you reduce it to 1 hour. You're using 5 hours, you reduce it to 2 hours. Use the remaining 3 hours that you have taken out to invest into something tangible that will help you in life. It could be deciding to become better. Learn things. Even when you don't need those things, learn them. There are several skills that you can learn through YouTube today. How to make cake, how to make things. Learn them. It will help you tomorrow. You will never know when those things will help you. So learn new skills, read books, read about people's biography, people who have made it in life, what did they do, and things like that. Have role models that you want to, pattern your life towards their own way of life and things like that, and follow what they did. Read about them. One of the problems that we have today in our society is that people mix wealth creation with pleasure. I realized this back then, some years back. In fact, I listened to Dangote once when he said something around mixing wealth creation with pleasure. And I tapped into that, and I realized that it's a big mistake. There is always time for everything. So when I see young people today who are just starting life and they want to live like those who have made it, I laugh. I mean, you have a lot of time. There's a lot of time. So long as there's life and you're living your life very well, you will live long. So why don't you use this period to lay the foundation of your tomorrow? Because if you don't lay a good foundation when you are starting life, it becomes difficult to build. And then when the time comes for you to start reaping from the foundation you've laid, or what you have sown in the past, you don't have anything to build on. If today you start working, today you are lucky you get a job, and maybe it's a good job, and you're doing it, and you're earning salary, and you have opportunities to still stay with your mother, your parents, or your auntie, or your in-law, or something like that. You're living in their house and you get a job. What I see people do today is, because I met one girl in the office or wherever I met the girl, and I need time to spend time with the girl, and I need freedom. So immediately I find a job today, the next thing I will do is to go and look for a house, because I found a job. You will have so many reasons. Like, people will say, that place is not conducive, that place is this, that place is that, they look down on me, things like that. When you didn't have that job, you were managing in that place. So what makes you think you should manage when you have gotten that job? For me, I would rather manage in that place and give myself 1, 2, 3 years. If they are not chasing me, maybe try to start contributing towards the family upkeep. So it will be better for me to come back every month. Out of my salary, I give my auntie, my mother, whoever, 50,000 naira, and say, please add to the family upkeep. They will be so excited, they will be so happy, and they will appreciate you for that. But really what you have done is, instead of using that 50,000 to go and pay for house rent somewhere and feed yourself, by the time you pay for house rent and you feed yourself, you would have spent maybe 100,000. And remember, immediately you find a house, your parents or your family members will give you one person. As an Igbo man, we are. It's in our culture. So once you start doing well or you get a job, the next thing is to give you one of your younger ones or two of them to come and stay with you. And so once they come, you will start feeding them. You will start clothing them. You start taking responsibility for whatever their cost is, because you need to, maybe pay school fees and things like that. I'm not saying it's bad to do those things, but it's always good to, first of all, lay a foundation for yourself before you launch into helping people. Because if you don't lay the foundation and you use your income, your total income, to start pulling things, people around, to start pulling people, you end up sometimes not being able to pull them out and not also being able to move, to grow. So stay where you are. Take every insult that comes with it. Give yourself time. That money you would have used to pay house rent, maybe it is 400,000, 500,000 every year. Use that 500,000 naira and invest somewhere. Something that will be giving you return. When you invest, you realize that by the time the year ends, that 500,000 naira would have given you maybe 250,000 or 200,000 extra. But if you have used it to pay rent, at the end of the year, you are looking for another 500,000 to pay another rent. But when you invest and you give yourself maybe 2-3 years and say, let me still stay here for two or 3 years more, within that 3 years, you would have built your money. You'd have grown your money. That 500,000 every month, maybe 3 years is 1.5 million. If you have invested right, you would have, generated another 1.5 on top of it. Let me just be very conservative. That is 3 million naira. So when you are leaving that place, you're living with already somebody that has 3 million somewhere, and not somebody that has only 500,000 to pay rent and start from beginning. So by the time you take out 500,000 and pay rent, you still have 2.5 million. So when your rent expires the next year, you are not under pressure to pay, because the 2.5 million you have in the bank can now yield the money for you to pay your rent without touching your salary. You'll be paying your rent. But it takes a little bit of discomfort to now launch yourself into that position of comfort in the next 2, 3, 4 years. But if you decide you don't want to have that discomfort, you realize that you'll just be running a rat race. You move out, you're earning maybe your annual income is 1.2 million. You use 500,000 naira to pay rent. You just have about 600,000 naira. You discover that by the time the next rent is coming up, you go and take loan from the office to pay. Another one is coming up, you take loan from the office to pay. So, and you are paying back the loan with interest. By the time you know it, 10 years is gone, you have not been able to save 1 naira, you've not achieved anything, because you laid a wrong foundation. But you won't realize where the problem is coming from. You will see your mates who you joined the company at the same time that are doing very well. You'll be asking yourself, is it not the same job we are doing? I've asked people ask me that question several times, and I'll look at them and I'll smile. It's the same job we are doing, but we're not spending our money the same way. Sometimes I practically will not go out. Sometimes I decide that, okay, on Fridays, because I have this thing I want to do, thank God it's Friday, I will not go out. I will not hang out with anybody for the next 1 year. And people don't think it's possible. It's possible, I do it. I practically sometimes decide to do it, because sometimes when you hang out on Fridays, you spend 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, sometimes 50,000 naira. And you come back home. And then every Friday you spend 50,000 naira. By the time you calculate it in 1 week, in 1 month, it's 200,000. That 200,000 naira in 1 year is like how much? 2.4 million. But that is just hangouts. You didn't see it as anything. But it's money that is going. So sometimes we need to, look at it, because people say they don't have enough. It's not enough to save. It is enough to save. It's just about what you use your money for. So that takes me to the next topic. How to, try to manage your income. I will recommend today that you go back and you make sure at the end of beginning of every month, you have a table, an Excel sheet. Create it. Start putting your expenditure in that Excel sheet. By the time you do it, like anything you spend money on, put it there. 1 naira, 2 naira, whatever money you spend, put it there. At the end of the month, look at what you have spent your money on, and you realize that you have wasted, maybe like 30% of that money was actually waste. You spent money on things you didn't need to spend money on. So when you have done that, sit down and look at it and say, okay, from here, I will cut out 30% and look at the things that were not meaningful that you spent money on and take them out. And then you will now be able to find out what your total spend for the month will be. And you live within that spend bucket. Whatever anybody is saying, make sure you don't exceed that spend bucket. Try and live with that spend bucket. And then the rest of it, that 30% becomes savings. What it means is that you're saving 30% of your salary every month. But this is the same salary you said was not enough to save before. But because you have consciously taken effort to realize what you are spending your money on. Because why we think our money is not enough to spend is because we don't even know what we spend our money on. You're going on the way. In the office, somebody brings a belt. You already have belt you're wearing. But because somebody brought that belt and they are selling it, others are buying, you buy belt. Somebody brings a shoe. You don't need any shoe. You are still having a shoe. You still have shoe that you're wearing. You buy it. Yeah? You sit in the home, in your house. Oh, today I want to eat out. You go and eat out. I don't say people should not enjoy their life. But for me, enjoyment, there's time for enjoyment. There's time for sowing of seed and time for reaping. If you have this philosophy in life, you will make it. You need to first of all sow before you reap. At a point in my life, I was using saloon cars, and then most of my mates were all driving SUV. And people were laughing at me and were like, your own is too much. Go and buy SUV. And I say, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. And people were like, how? How? How will you say you don't have the money? I said, I don't have the money. But then, I was saving my money. I was using my money for something else. When the time came that I needed to have an SUV, it was the proceeds from my investment that I used to buy that SUV and not my capital. And so I was comfortable to ride the SUV because even if it has problem tomorrow, I will fix it because I have money somewhere to fix it. So these are the ways that you go about life. I want to talk to our young people, those who are just starting life. This is not the time to go into spending spree. No. This is not the time to show that you have arrived. You want to wear Gucci, you want to wear Fendi, you want to wear that and that. I mean, there's a lot of time in future for you to do all that. You look at people who have made it in life and they're wearing Fendi, you want to wear the same Fendi. You're deceiving yourself. Because some of them, the Fendi they are wearing, they are buying it from their investment, the proceeds from their investment. And you use your own capital to go and buy your own. Who is deceiving who? You're deceiving yourself. One thing about life is that there must always be a new trend. What is trending today is not what will trend tomorrow. So if you kill yourself for the one that is today, what of the one of tomorrow? You can close your eyes on the ones that is happening today and say, okay, no problem, let me plant my seed and grow it and wait for the one, because the ones that will come out tomorrow will be even better than the ones that are there today. Those best houses in our villages those days when we were small, that we will go to look at them and say, this house, this person is the richest person in the village. The house is the best. Today, if you go there today, that house is, you won't, even if you ask you to come inside there and drink water, you will not want to go and drink water there because it's no longer the best. Newer models have come out and they've dusted that one out. So cars, for instance, we used to have Peugeot those days. I remember when I was using Peugeot 504. It was one of those things, we call it pan. You know, we are driving it and we are feeling cool. Today, who drives 504 Peugeot? Nobody. If you are driving that car today, they will be looking at you and this man, is he normal? Life has gone past that. So don't deceive yourself as you want to follow the trend. Build the foundation. Save your money. When you are finished saving the money and then the money has grown, then you can now spend from the money you have spent. You've already the proceeds from that investment. So I've talked about people thinking that their salary is too small, because of that they cannot save. That is a deceit. Don't deceive yourself. In fact, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Don't even try to put yourself in that pity situation. Any amount of money you're earning, you can save out of it. You can save. You can decide to save for even 500 naira. You can save. The most important thing is that you made that conscious effort to develop that habit of savings. That's the most important thing. Because if you don't, then you will always live to regret it. I've also talked about taking stock of what you spend your money in on monthly basis, and then looking at things that are not necessary, take them out, you will realize that between 20 and 30% of the things you spend your money on are things that are not necessary. So when you take those things out, you would have ordinarily saved 20% or 30% of your salary, or whatever your income is. If it's not salary, whatever it is, you have saved 20%, and that 20% becomes something. So that 20% you are saving, do not just put it down, let it work for you. So we'll go to that, and that is the aspect of investment. But let me just clear the one of savings. So, and then I will also talk to us, because some of us are not good in savings. Like me, I am not good in saving. I understood this early enough. You know why? Because I have a lot of responsibilities that has always been with me, that have been following me from the first day I started working, and up to today. Those responsibilities are there. The ones I created for myself, the ones that I inherited, the ones that I could have avoided, but I decided not to avoid, and I brought them in on top of myself. So they are there. So if I have 1 million naira today, by tomorrow, if you ask me about that 1 million, I will not be able to show you where it is. Did I spend it on myself? No. I hardly spend money on myself, because I am trying to please people. I'm trying to help people. One thing I realized is that I cannot have 1 million naira in the bank today, and somebody calls me and say my son is in the hospital, or my son is dying. I cannot take the child to hospital because there is nothing for them to eat and things like that, and I will not dip money hand into that 1 million to give that person. I know there are a lot of you that are in that space. So I am also in that space. So I will tell you what to do. What I've done that have helped me is that I don't keep money. My wife will ask me sometimes, how do you even survive? Because you hardly go to my account and see 1 naira. I don't keep money, but I survive. So luckily for me, God gave me a partner that can save. My wife decides that she will not touch her money. You can whatever you like say, she will not touch that money. In the worst case, she will give, if I ask her to borrow me money, she will ask me for post-dated check when I will pay. So she must collect a check from me before she gives me money. That's how it is. Initially, I was upset about it, but at the time I realized that if she doesn't do that, she will not grow her business. I will just help her to run down her business. So, and that is what it is. So I realized that my wife is a better saver than me. And so sometimes if I have money, I give it to her to keep for me. And I trust that money will be the same way, because she will not touch it. That same way I give it to her is how it will be until when I want to spend it. And when I want to spend it, she wants to know what I want to do with it. So, and she helps me, manage that, expenditure. If not, I'll give it out to people. Whoever calls me and say I have this problem, this and that, I find it difficult to say no to people. So I would rather be without money. So when you tell me and I say I don't have money, my conscience is very clear, because I don't have it. The money is not available, and it's not available. Another thing I do is that I realize that if I go into something, maybe I have a project I'm doing, all my mind is in that project, all my attention is on that project. So any money that comes into my mind, before the money comes, is already calculated into that project. So whatever comes, I push it to that project. So it also helps me to save money. So you realize that at the time you are doing that project, it's difficult. By the time you finish that project, maybe it takes you 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to do that project. You finish it. You have gradually been depositing money into that project. And then when that project is completed, you will realize that, oh, I can actually boast of maybe 10 million naira, 5 million naira, because you've over time put money somewhere and it has grown. But if you don't try to put that money, you will realize that after 2 years, 3 years, that same 4 years, if they ask you to bring 1 million, you will not be able to bring, you won't even be able to account for 1 million. Because you would have spent it. Not because you didn't spend it wisely, you spent it wisely. But the money is gone. But if you cut out some part of your salary and put it into something, and the one that is remaining, you will realize that you will still live within, you force yourself to live within that one that is remaining. Our body adjusts so fast. That's what I've realized about our body system. Human beings adjust so fast. If I have 1 million naira to spend today, my body will adjust to consume that 1 million naira. very fast. In fact, my body will tell me the things I've been denying myself that I needed to have that I've not been having. And I'll go in having those things, and at the end of the day, that $1 million will go. If I decide to save out of that $1 million, I save 500,000, my body will still adjust to use 500,000. So whatever you provide for your body, the body will adjust to use that one. So if you want to make yourself comfortable and live comfortable and then enjoy life, continue to enjoy life. But time will come when you will now need more money to sustain that life you are enjoying, and the money will not be there. I see some young people today, when once they start making money, the next thing is to start looking at maybe to go and buy car and things like that. Car is not a car. Car at that point might not be a necessity. It's true that car is an asset, but it's a depreciating asset. From the day you buy a car from a car shop and you move it out from that car shop, the value starts dropping. And that's the truth. If you buy a car from me today and you drive it out of my house here, but if you bring it back, once you have put number to it, I can't buy it the same amount you bought it. It's no longer US used, it's now Nigerian used. Even if it's only one day, it has become Nigerian used, so the value will drop. But I tell you something, it got to a point in my life when I thought that, okay, in my village, I think I should have a car in the village, because I travel to the village once in a while, so that when I get to the village, I'll have a car that will take me around and things like that. And I looked at it and I said, okay, how much of a car do I want to buy? 4 million, 5 million, okay. So I get a 5 million naira car, I park it in the village. And then whenever I travel to the village, I drive the car. And then I pack it again, I come back. How many times do I go to the village in a year? Those are the kind of calculations you do to be able to determine whether you want to do something or not. And I looked at it and I said, okay, what if I use that 5 million naira, if I have it now, to invest in something? And then each time I want to go to the village, I take a flight. I get to the airport. I get an airport taxi. Even if I'm going to spend 2 days in the village, 3 days in the village, that airport taxi stays with me. How much will the airport taxi collect from me? Or maybe 100, 200, 150,000. It can't be more than 200,000. With a flight, maybe 300,000. How many times do I go to the village? Maybe 3 times a year. So I'm spending not up to 1 million naira. Do you know that that 5 million naira that I've put in an investment, the minimum I can get as a return is 2 million. I cannot get less than 2 million naira return from that 5 million naira in a year. So if I put that 5 million in an investment and I decide to use it this way, manage my life this way, I will still have 1 million difference, because I would have spent 1 million naira or 900,000 naira, maximum 900,000 naira from car hire in the village, but I'll still have 1.1 million as a savings on top of the 5 million naira. So the next year it will become 6.1 million. By the time you know it, you do it for 5 years, your money would have grown to 10 million naira. While if I have bought the car and parked in the village, in 5 years that car, I can't sell that car for 1 million or 2 million. And remember, because that car is parked in the village, I will continue to maintain it, service it. Each time I go to the village, I will go and service it, because once you park a car, it starts to get bad and things like that. You will service it, so there's also cost. So I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't know if I'm trying, and somebody's taking out notes to realize how you have to prioritize your life to be able to save money. So today, if I'm working in Lagos today and I go to work alone, instead of using 3 million naira, 2 million naira as a starter to go and buy a car, why don't I enter Uber, for instance, and invest that 3 million naira? If I invest that 3 million naira today, at the end of this year, at the end of 12 months, I should be able to realize maybe 1 million from that investment. That makes it 4 million. I cannot use 1 million for transportation in Uber in a year in Lagos. It's not possible. So highest, maybe I spend 500,000 naira in a year. Because one thing that car does to you is that when you have a car, you start going to places you don't need to go to. You start staying out late because you have a car. Because you know that once, anytime you want to go, you put up you just start your car, you drive home. It makes you stay out. It makes you go to places you don't need to go to. And that brings you another cost as well. But if you don't have a car and you don't have that luxury, you realize that when you go out, you need to start looking at Uber that will come and carry you and things like that. So you avoid certain places. You avoid going to certain things. You avoid going to places you'll be going to spend money. So you reduce the rate at which you go out. And the more you don't go out, the more you reserve money. The more you save money. So, at the end of the day, you realize that you spend maybe 500,000 naira in Uber. You would have saved 500,000 again from the proceed of that investment that you made. So you have 500,000 left, and then you still have that comfort you want because somebody is driving. You're not even driving yourself. You relax. The person drives you. You don't have the headache of going to mechanic and mechanic steals something and tells you that it's bad. You don't have the headache of wasting your time and things like that. Things happening on the way and things like police catching you and all those things. So those headaches are taken away from you. But yet you still have the comfort that you needed. So these are little tips on what things you need to do to save. So that people who say they cannot save, I'm just telling you where you can save quickly and make money out of it. So savings alone can also not make you rich. I know I've also been talking about investments along as I've been talking. So you don't need to just keep your money in the bank. So because if you keep your money in the bank, the interest the bank will give you can never be more than inflation. So you realize that at the end of the day, if you put your money in savings account today, if you put 1 million in savings account today, at the end of this year, you won't get more than 100,000. What is on? You can't get even 50,000 naira for 1 year, for 1 million naira from bank. Lie, you will not. Bankers here can also, prove me wrong. But today, if you have 1 million naira and you put it in real estate, you put it in some other forms of investment that are available out there. And like I said, the difference between a rich man and a poor man is information. So if you have good information, you can always find the right places to put money. There are investments in Nigeria today that gives you a return of 50% at the end of the year, and they are still safe. There are also the ones that give you 40%, 30%. So why do you go and keep your money in the bank? You don't need to keep your money in the bank. If you find it difficult to put your money in the bank, in where you work, the place you work, or where you do business, you can become 10 and say, okay, 10 of us. Find 10 people that can be trusted. If you think the people you are doing it with, you cannot trust them, ask them, okay, let's be contributing 10,000 naira every month. 10,000 for 10 of you is 100,000 naira. Right or wrong? It is. Try and make sure that you are the first to carry because you trust yourself. If you think the other people will not keep to the agreement, so try to collect first. So when you are paying that 10,000, that's how I started as well. I did all those things in my early stage in life. We will come together in the office, 10 of us, 15 of us. We say, okay, every year, this year we're paying every month we're paying 10,000 naira or 20,000 or 30,000, whatever it is, because our money is not a big then. So you will do it. If you're 15, if you're 12 for the whole year, that is 120,000 naira. You carry first. You collect the 120,000 naira in January. When you get it, you plug that money into something and leave it there and be paying the remaining one. Before the year runs out, that your 120,000 naira would have given you, if not for anything, it would have given you 20 or 30% income. So instead of 120, at the end of the year, you'll be having maybe like 160 to 200,000. You start the next year from 200,000 and put another 120,000 on top of it. So by the time you do it for 5 years, you're already a millionaire. So when people say they cannot save, they cannot become rich, I don't understand it. It's just that you don't understand the things to do. If you set out within yourself today to say, in the next 5 years, I'll be a millionaire, you will be a millionaire. It's very simple. But it's just that you have not decided to do it. If you start saving 120 for 5 years, every year you carry. You carry first and put that 120 in the bank. In 5 years, that 120 that you're getting is how much? 600,000 naira. And then that 600,000 naira, because you're investing it in something, it will have yielded you another 400,000. That's 1 million naira. You're already a millionaire in 5 years. And your income still continues because you're still doing your job. You must be in a position where, if your company is talking about retrenchment, you are not panicking. If you have not gotten to that point in your life, then you are just wasting. And that's the truth. And that's the place we are. A lot of us, we are wasting, because any day my company says they want to retrench, I start panicking. So I am not yet there. But that is my target, to get to a point when I go to work because I just want to go to work. Any day they say the work is not there, well and good. I come back home and I smile to my wife. I say, well, they say the work is no longer there, but that's fine. I'm not worried because it will not change the kind of school my children will go to. It will not change the kind of food we eat and things like that, because the standard we live will still be there because I have saved money, I've invested money. My investment is now giving me things to do. It's giving me income. People ask me today, how do you do it? Let me tell you something about myself today. As I talk to you now, I don't have a car of my own. And people will say, how? But it's true. The car I'm driving today is my company car. If the company, God forbid, decide that they should sack me today, I don't have a car. From that day they sack me, I'm carless. But that is the truth. But let me tell you why I did that. I had a car. I had a company car. I was using a company car. And I parked my car. One day I got up and I realized for 6 months I have not entered into my own car. And I said to myself, why do I leave an asset for 6 months that is not generating anything? For 3 months, 6 months, that will not be generating anything. And then, just because I want to have a car. I brought out that car, then I put it on OLX. Then I've not started selling cars. I put it on OLX and they sold it. I turned that money into an investment, put the money somewhere, and it's making money for me. So if the company decides today and say, okay, we are taking our car from you, we no longer want you to work, that investment I've put down somewhere, I can call it back and use it to buy myself a car and still have change. That's what investment can do for you. But if I've not done that, that car value would have been depreciated, because in 2 years, 3 years, when you want to sell a car of 2010 in the next 2 years, it will now be 12 years old or something like that. So as the year goes by, the value depreciates. So the value of that car would have depreciated. Instead of gaining something, it's going down. But I sold it and I put the money into where the money is getting something for me. I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't know if somebody is getting something out of what I'm saying. So these are the kind of things that you do. I see somebody talk about Chimaka investment. I've heard about Chimaka investment. I've not invested in it, but my wife has talked about it, and I was told it's good. That's fine. You look at it, because Chimaka investment, I was told it gives you 5% every month. So if it gives you 5% in every month, that means in a year you are getting like 50%. Is it right? Yeah. 60% for even. So that's a good investment. But that's also a risky investment. So the more the risk, the more the return. So I will talk about that shortly. How you spread your risk so that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you need to think about investment. Investment is key. Where do you invest? People will ask me, what do I invest in? Invest in real estate. You can never get it wrong. Real estate is very, very good. Invest in real estate. I was telling somebody the other day that 50 to 60% of the money I used to buy the house where I'm living now today was actually an investment that I made some years back. And the person said, how? I said, okay, let me tell you something. When others were busy living in Magodo, I was living in Omole. And I was paying 350,000 naira a month, a year as my rent. I went to Magodo and bought land. That land, I bought it 1.5 million then. Then I started building gradually. Collected loan in the office, because the company I was working for then can give you advance against gratuity, give you housing loan, give you stuff like that. So they gave me several loans. So I was able to get as much as possible. So I invested it in that place. And at the end of the day, we moved into the house. When my landlord increased the rent to 450,000, from 350 increased it to 450,000, I said I was not going to pay. They started begging me. In fact, that was the time I knew that I was the only tenant who pay my rent before it expires. My landlord came to me and said, you are the best tenant here. You are the one that always pay me before time. You have never owed me. Please, what is the problem? I said, why did you increase my rent? You increased my rent. I don't want to pay. He said, okay, continue paying what you are paying. I said, no, I don't want to pay again. I want to go. I left and moved to my house. By the time I got to where my house is, all my neighbors were monkeys. There was no life there. Nobody was living there. There was nobody. In fact, people that came there said, am I crazy? Why will I come into this bush and come and stay? Why will I hurt my family like that? My wife, there was no light. For almost 3, 4, 5 years, we lived in that place without light. And my wife was there. All of us were there. We only use generator 2, 3 hours or 4 hours in a day. And that's the end. But you know what? Within that period, I was busy buying land in that place. Any little money that comes into my hand, when they want to do this Odo or whatever they call it, this Muslim festival, all those people, they will come to me and say, or moneyless. They will come to me and say, we want to do festival, there's no money, there's this land. Can you come and collect? They say it's 1.5 million. I say, what I have now is 500,000. I don't have up to 1.5. They say, just give us, let us go and buy them and do these things. Pay us the other one gradually. I'll be paying them gradually, and I was having those lands. And then by the time you know it, I've accumulated few properties there. In 2, 3 years, 4 years, those properties I bought 1.5, 2 million naira became 5 million, 7 million. I started selling. And when I sold, I moved the money into treasury bill. Started investing in treasury bill. I'll give you one secret. When my father died, we were talking about my father's burial, and I was smiling. I told my family members, move that burial to February. They said, why? I said, just leave it that time. They didn't know why I said February. I said February because my treasury bill investment will yield in January. So for me, I didn't want to use my capital to do my father's burial. I want to use my proceed from investment. So in January, when my treasury bill matured, I now put, moved it in again, and then used it, part of it, to do my father's burial, and I was still comfortable. And then we were happy, everybody was happy. So now when I wanted to move out of that place and come to Lekki, I sold some of the lands and things like that, moved my treasury and used it to buy a house, and then move into this place. So why am I saying? You sow your seed, you reap it tomorrow. If you sow today, you reap it tomorrow. I see somebody ask me, what is Chimak? I think Chimak investment, I don't have a lot of information around it. My wife is one that knows much about it. So I think maybe she will talk to you guys about it. But I know it's an investment. People put money. They're into real estate. They're into so many things and things like that. And they give a very good return. I've compared their return with what other investments I see out there is. And I see that their return is very, very attractive. They are very competitive. They give very good in return, and people who have been doing it have said that it's very good. So if you have somebody that has been in that business for 2, 3 years and he has not disappointed, I think it's worth joining. So I'm not advertising Chimak today. Chimak did not pay me to advertise him, so I'm not advertising Chimak. But I mentioned it because it's something that I've seen my wife talk about, and she's passionate about it and things like that. So it's a good investment. And it's a good platform for you to put your money. You can be putting, I don't know the modalities, I don't know what the details is, but I think maybe from around 500,000 you can start investing. So I mean, if you have 500,000 naira, you put it there, and then at the end of the year you get up to 60% or so, or 50% or whatever it is. That's like half of the money as a proceed. So what beats that? That's a lot. You get a lot from that. There are so many other investment opportunities. If you want, you can reach out to my wife. You can contact me. We'll talk about it. So it's a very good investment. If my wife will put her money there, then you'll be sure that it's very good, because she's so scared. She's a very scared person. She doesn't invest anyhow. So I take more risk than her in terms of investment. My risk appetite is very high. So I take more risk. My wife doesn't take risk. She doesn't like risk at all. So for her to be talking about Chimak, that means she must have done her due diligence very well, and then and discover that it's very good. So please do not just save your money. Savings is very key, but at the same time, when you save, also invest it. Investment is very, very okay. I think I've spoken too much, so you can invest in real estate. Stock is not doing too well now, but stock is also where you can invest your money. There are so many agricultural investments today that you can put your money into as well. that gives you a lot of return. Property business, if you like real estate as well, if you're able to buy house, especially when if you have a good real estate developers, which I know few of them, and I'm also into that line, so you can reach out to me if you want to go into that. You key into it when they are starting. They call it off plan. You key in at off plan. So within this Lekki area, Lekki as is, you can get a 4-bedroom duplex terrace for 38 million. You key in at off plan, and then pay 20%. Spread the other one for a year or a year and 6 months, as the case may be. So it's a very good one. By the time it finishes, you won't be selling it less than 45 million naira or 42 million naira, as the case may be. So you make maybe like 7 million, 8 million. You move on, and remember the 36 or 37 million you're putting. You're not putting it at once. You're putting it and spreading it over time. So you are just putting money gradually, and then by the time you complete it, you make 7 million. You move out again, move on to another one. So you do it gradually, and before you know it, you grow your money, and your money is growing. So it's a good one to do. So there are so many of them, opportunities that you can tap into. So if you want that, you can also reach out to me. We'll talk about it, and then we'll see how it goes. But in that one, you pay me consultation fee. All right. So let's quickly take question. I couldn't finish. There's a lot to talk about, but the time I was told is 1 hour, and I was not supposed to spend more than 1 hour. So let's just quickly take questions. Maybe some other time we'll talk more about investment. But another thing I want to tell you about investment is that as you grow older in age, please always spread your risk. So because every investment is risky, there's no investment that is not risky. Let's be very clean about it. Every investment is risky, but you have to compare your risk and then spread it, so that you are not trapped into one investment alone. And as you grow old, as you're getting towards retirement, you start reducing your risk appetite. That's the most important. But when you are younger, you can dive into a lot of things and do it, and then you will not regret it. So there's nothing like investing. Investment is very, very, very important. If you do it today, in the next 4 or 5 years, you'll come back and take me, and then you see what you get out of it. Thank you. I don't know if there are questions. I think we have 5 minutes, so we can just take a few questions. Any question? So somebody's asking me treasury bill. What is treasury bill? So treasury bill is a government investment that are done through banks and things like that. I can't talk to you about it, but today the treasury bill investment is not worth it. Again, I'll be honest to you. I think the best interest they give today is it used to be 20%, 20-something%, 18% as at 2 years ago. For people like us, I've moved my money out of treasury bill because it doesn't yield enough again. Now it's about 5% at the end of the year. So why would I put my money after 1 year I get 5% when I can give it to Chimak, for instance, and get the 5% in 1 month? So that's it. But treasury bill is very safe. So when you are getting to your retirement age, those are the kind of places you put your money. You are not looking for quick returns again, because that is your retirement money. So you put it there and be collecting those small things, and your money is safer. But at a younger age, when you are still vibrant, that's not where to go to. I can't go and put my money in a treasury bill of 5% now. I will not do that. But I'll put it in a place where I can get 20%, 30%, 40, 50, as the case may be. Sorry. Okay, I can see a lot of people asking about treasury bills. You can read it up. It's very simple, but I think I've explained it a bit. This one said, please talk to me next time. Please reach out to me and pay me consultation fee. I'll talk to you. Madam says she paid me in kind on this one. Please, next time I'm not taking kind payment. I've paid for the kind payments. That's the truth. So that one is my portion. So that one is not something that I can be bullied with another time. Let me say it here. So please, next time she has to pay. If she doesn't pay, I'm not coming online. So people should encourage her to pay me next time so I can come back. There are so many things we can talk about. I think I always like to talk about my life because I started from nobody. I was nobody. I can tell you about my life, but I was determined to make it in life, and I knew the things to do to make it, and so I was not worried. Even marriage-wise, when my colleagues were marrying people in the village and marrying things they wanted to marry, I did not jump into marriage. It took me time. I knew the kind of woman I wanted to marry. It took me time to find that woman, and then when it came, I married that person. And today I'm not regretting it. Some of my colleagues, their children have started getting married. My own are not getting married yet. But I like the quality of life I'm giving them today because I invested into it early enough. So it's about you making conscious effort and knowing what you want. Don't say your parents are poor. Your parents might not be as poor as my own parents were then. But from the time I was living in the village, as a village boy, going out there to hunt for rabbit, I already knew what I wanted to be in life. I could remember those my friends in the village. I would tell them, I said, I will make it in this life. And they would be like, how do you want to do it? I say, I will do it. I will make it because I know where I want to get to. I know the kind of life I wanted to live. And then I followed my desire, and then I walked towards it. And God on my side, because you need God. That is the truth. You need God. You need to be close to God so that God will order your steps. Because even for you to be able to invest, it's God that gives the wisdom. But at the end of the day, you need God. You need also to be very, have focus on what you want to do and how you do it. So don't tell me that your parents are rich, are poor. That is why you're going to be poor. You don't need to be poor. You can make it. There are steps to take, but you decide to be poor because you did not take those steps. Sometimes I see people today. You are not even doing anything as a man. Your income is not up to 100,000 naira a month, a year. You want to go and marry. That's not the first thing to do. I mean, it's not the first thing to do. You are still 20-something years. Why are you rushing into marriage? Except you found somebody that your girl is doing something very well and she's willing to support you, then that's fine. But if you're not earning up to 100,000, your wife is not earning up to 50,000 naira, or your wife is not doing anything at all, you want to go and marry. The day you marry, the next 6 months, 9 months, there's a baby to take care of. How do you want to make it in life? Have you asked yourself question? I'm not God though. God can do magic. I mean, that's God can do miracle. That's fine. But I'm saying you need to be conscious about what you want to do. When my friends were marrying, I did not marry. And they were talking at a point, my friends, all of them, they were all married. They were saying, I'm really responsible. I don't want to marry. I say, yes, thank you. At a point, they took me out of the group. I said, fine, no problem. But I was calculating. I was focused. I knew what I wanted. I didn't just want to marry any woman. I wanted to marry a woman that will support my dream. I wanted to marry a quality woman. And I know I cannot get that at where I was. So I had to make money first. And I started making it. By the time I got who I wanted, by God's grace, I mean, things started falling in place. So please don't rush into things. Take your time. Don't do because others are doing. That's not what it is. Like I've said, when I see young people today, you are in the university, what you want to do is to wear Fendi, wear this and that, wear Rolex wristwatch. I just look at you and I laugh because you don't know what you're doing. That money for Rolex wristwatch, invest it. In the next 5 years, you can buy something better than Rolex. So please, thank you. I think I've said enough and I've been able to consume the 1 hour. Thank you very much. Madam can tell you how to reach me if you want to have a further discussion on investment. But like I said, this time around you need to grease my palms more. Thank you very much.
No, reach me. If you want to reach him, reach me first. Reach me. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope you had value for your time. You got enough value for your time. I can see over 300 people live. I don't see this much people when I'm doing my own. You see your life. You people see your life. Okay. All right. So we end today's live session. Thank you for joining. It's been wonderful. I also joined and I listened and I picked value. So I'm going to save this video on YouTube. So you can go to my YouTube channel, PDF Heads and Accessories, to watch if you missed this, okay? So I'm going to call it off now. God bless you. See you again in another 2 weeks. Whatever I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to bring it out here before then. So bye. You can come and say bye to your people. You can come and say bye-bye. You can come. Our guys say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.